Well, it has been a while, but I think it's about time for one of those best penny stocks to buy now. Maybe because the Fed rate cut is coming up. Maybe we're going to see soft landing and dovishness. I think that the whole market is ready to hear what it has to say. And then is this going to be a September to remember? We're going to do our very best in order to show that. So we got Big Bear AI stock. So BBAI stock. OCGN is also in this. That's OCGN, REKR, VERI, APPS. And I feel like I'm really failing at a spelling bee just by listing all those off. So guys, you can find me and the other panel of experts over at Discord. You can check out the new offer for a 3-day free trial. Check it out. See what you see. I think along with the other thousands of members who are already over there, you're going to absolutely love everything that you have to find. And with that said, let's jump into the charts on this. We'll kick things off with the Qs. And I kept on saying, is this going to be a September to remember? Well, let's go back to September the 2nd when we were all the way down on the Qs at 559. We are currently at 587. So that is a significant climb for us from that bottom to the very peak that we had there. That is a 5% climb in the month of September, when September is supposed to be not so great of a time for the stock market historically. And I said September to remember, a September sell-off. So far, it happens to be that primary one, that former one that I mentioned. Also, IWM in terms of just general risk assets for those small cap stocks. This one, we're looking for a price tag at 248 to fill out the inverse head and shoulders that you see down here. And I'll tell you what, so far, even if when we look at crypto, we got Bitcoin deciding if it wants to absolutely smash through its chart and the bull channel that's in, it broke out of that near-term bearish channel. And now it's really trying to, hopefully we get that retest, that 50 EMA, find that support there and catch on to that next rocket ship. Wednesday, which is when the Fed makes their announcement, is going to be an absolutely huge day for us. So into the penny stocks now. REKR is the first one. This one looking like a little bit like an inverse head and shoulders, with that neckline being just down below this 200 EMA that's here on the screen in front of you. Let me shrink down the volume so we can see the candles a little bit more. So not a lot of volume action, but up above the 200 EMA, things get really exciting. So I'm really anticipating left shoulder head, right shoulder on this for the inverse head and shoulders. This thing could take that next rocket ship ride. Called it the last time that this thing was absolutely blasting off when we saw this thing down below $1, and it went all the way up above $1.70. So we'll see if it can make that next climb. And we have reset momentum on this, but still bullish, climbing weekly right at 50.76. When we go to monthly, we're starting to inflect on where we see ourselves with the momentum. So we haven't hit that long-term trend yet, but that doesn't mean that the monthly chart is without its benefits. So first of all, we have a near-term climb going from March of this year all the way until present. That momentum is rising. And then besides that, when you look at the moving averages, where do we find ourselves on the monthly moving averages? Right now, if this really is turning out to be a September remember, we're starting to get our first close up above the 5 EMA with the 13 north of it at $1.31. If we can close above both of those, we might just be able to get them to cross, and that would be a bullish crossover on a monthly chart with rising momentum on a monthly basis. Weekly, just consolidating a little bit of sideways for us. So it's not huge that's above 50.76. We really want that big push. If we can get up above the 50 EMA and close above it at $1.28, then that's something that could also substantially catalyze us from where we're at right now. And when we drop down to the daily, like I said, getting above that 200-day is going to be huge for us. Let's go over to VERI. So for this one, looking at the daily chart, check out those volumes we've been getting recently. Just absolutely incredible volumes. This thing was around $2.72. Now it's up closer to $4 in the pre-market right now. The RSI, surprisingly, is not overbought at this time. It's at about 66. On a weekly basis, 65. And when we go out to a monthly basis, we are rightly at 50.08. Yeah, we got a high top wick on this one, but this is one, let me reset the view. Guys, we have a lot of room to climb up above this. We got to watch that resistance at $5.77 as per the 50 EMA. When we drop down this way, $5.59 is where we find that 200 EMA. And we go back to the daily chart where we find we're actually above. We have near-term bullishness with a volume breakout on this thing. Yeah, we might get a retest after a wick like that one. We're going to have to watch and see. But these are great volumes for us. We could be watching for that next movement to really come into this one as it continues to pump over time. And you can see that 50 EMA has been serving as massive support for us recently. If we get a retest down there, actually probably more likely across the tops of these around $3 per share, that would be absolutely incredible. APPS. There we go. So digital turbine is what we're looking at here. we're about to get bullish crossovers between the 5 and the 50, and then the 13 and the 50 would be not long to follow that one as well. So if we get those, that could be absolutely bullish. We actually even have, look at this, don't miss this, we're starting to get an accumulation in the volumes as well as we start to break out above this, and that's why I have it flagged as green for bullishness for the best penny stocks to buy now in this video. So let's watch for that. We're also north above the 200, by the way, so we have longer term bullishness, and we're getting that price action back up above the 50 EMA. And if we get those other bullish crossovers, we could start seeing this thing hit that 498, which isn't huge from where it's at right now, but we could be hitting that a big enough momentum push that could actually push us well up above and have us retesting these other peaks that happen to be around 7 to, we'll call it $8. So just south of 7 to just south of 8 from the price that it's at right now. OCGN, seeing a lot of volume in the morning, but definitely like just absolutely wild and whippy around. Let's drop down to the 5 EMA. So this is OCGN. Now, mind you, penny stocks do have pump and dump price action sometimes, so we got to be careful with this. But this is also atypical right now to see this in the pre-market for this particular stock that you usually have some sort of excitement that goes along with it. And this is one that I've done several times in terms of swing trading or using options playing it. The last time that we saw this price action happen to be up around $2 per share. I was in this thing around 60 cents, and then we watched this thing take a rocket ship, right? That was actually, let me fast forward, it was this period right here, which is when I played that. So we saw it around 60-ish cents, and then took that rocket ship ride, went up over $2, settled back down, played this thing again as we came off of this bottom down here, once again around 60, 70 cents, and then we watched it go up about $1.50, and we're starting to really get that build back up above the 200 EMA. And like I said, with the right volume push, with the right catalyst, we could see this thing absolutely pump massively. Has not been able to settle back after these high top wicks that we got here with that selling pressure. If we can overcome that selling pressure around $1.30, we can sit on top of that, especially with this reset momentum, that could be huge for OCGN. So let's zoom out on that one. You can even see the candle structure that we have here riding on top the 13-week EMA, really pushing on top of that. And once again, some signs of volume accumulation that we hit some sort of bottom. And now we're starting to see it turn back the other way. That's very early on the weekly chart. Bullish momentum, that is what we have on this. The daily tells us a little bit more. And if we go out to the monthly momentum on this one, you can see we hit that full volume taper on this that we started to get into. Not a lot of price conviction here. You can see the selling pressure that comes along with it. But as we start to get up above that, we could see some of that pressure come back in terms of volume. So we could be early on this. All right, so now the last one, the big one, and this is something that I've been talking for a couple weeks. We've been watching for some sort of major structural change to come from BigBear.ai, that we had the drop off and then we had the consolidation. And just the last 2 days of last week, things have gotten really interesting on the daily chart in BigBear.ai. It might be time that we start looking to see what could be coming its way. This could be a huge Q4 for BBAI stock. So let's put this up here and let's see what's happening on the charts for this thing. So had a 4% day. Let's drop down to the daily chart. 4% day on Friday, and it's up about another 2%. The EMAs are going to be massive for this. So just check this out. So when we look at what happened on Thursday of last week, we tried out the 13, couldn't quite hold on to it, came back down towards the 5. Then Friday came along with volume. We had that pop up, about 4% up on volume. We're up above the 5 EMA. We're up above the 13. And guys, look how we were treating that 5 EMA since those earnings. It's been resistance the entire time. Friday snapped that resistance, and that's absolutely massive that we see that sort of price action push us back up in that way. So the momentum finally coming off its lows, hit 41, so still bearish momentum on a daily basis. When we got to weekly, we're at 49.85, and look at this candle structure here. This is massive, massive and wild indecision here with some signs of volume increase as well. So we have the accumulation starting to come in, and then we also have this indecision here where the bulls and the bears are fighting contentiously over where we go next, getting rejected off the 5 EMA. If we can have a strong week this week, we can start to show that the bottom is in and that we start going back up and retesting prices like $7, $8, especially if it's paired with volume, and especially if there's a catalyst that goes along with it, that some funding is coming their way. And usually people who are more privy to the company's inner workings, then maybe they have people who are related in the investing space and they're like, hey, you know, big things are coming for us. This is looking really good. That contract is close to signing. Now, mind you, this is pure speculation here that any of this is happening, but oftentimes we see some sort of pop happen early on, and then the big news hits, and people are positioned now, and boom is where you get that really big price inflation, if you will, that price appreciation for the stock. So Big Bear AI might be setting up for something like that. This could take us up to about that $6 per share. So be on the look for that, because that's the last time that we had this support shelf that was in here. That could also be an absolute ceiling for us in the near term. So we're going to watch for that, especially watch and see. We have the 50 crossing the 200 week. That bullish crossover is a golden cross, and that's massive to see something like that. On a monthly basis, we are at 55.77. So we're up here with this price action with complete momentum reset across the daily, weekly, and monthly. So out of the best penny stocks to buy now, Big Bear AI could be one of the most exciting ones that I have on this list, especially if we get that news catalyst coming our way. And we at least have the technicals that say that are suggesting that a temporary bottom could be in, especially if we can cross over 50 on the daily chart with that crossover of the 5 and 13 EMAs. So guys, I'm very excited about it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Come on over and join us over at the Discord, where I am there and the whole panel, the expert panel is there to support you in your journey towards financial freedom and building alpha in your portfolio. And remember, 3-day free trial, no obligation. You can sign right on up, cancel anytime after that. If it's within that 3 days, well, then you tried it and you found out if you liked it or you didn't like it. And I got to say, I think that's an incredible opportunity. You are going to love the ecosystem that's over there. And if you want to learn the technicals that you see here and more, and also trading using technicals, how to trade options to build alpha in your portfolio, there's links down in the description for Stockmo Academy. Use code word DOCTOR when you sign up, DOCTOR, and that's going to save you $400 off the course sign up. And when you bundle the courses, you get a bundle discount as well. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Dr. Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you next video.